Hello everyone, I am Dimitrik and welcome to today's episode of Fryderykraft. If you watched the last episode, you know that we did some amazing work throughout the city, such as the interior to the old city hall right here, as well as some other buildings throughout the city. But this episode, I wish to do something different. For the last couple episodes, as far as I can remember, I haven't ventured much outside of this town on camera, so this episode I would like to spend some time outside of the city. And one of the things I wish to do is to do some more work on my base. You guys may not know this, but I do not actually live in this city. Well, actually, I do. I do have a house somewhere over there, but this city I would not consider my main base. My main base is actually about 1,500 blocks that way, in that direction, on an island, which I doubt that you guys have ever seen, so I will take you over there so that you guys can take a look at my base. And here we have a nice sunset as we row away from our town. Very beautiful. And one of the first stops that I've ever made on the first day was at this island right here, where I abducted a cow and stole him and rode him over thousands of blocks away from his home, never to see his family again. But nowadays, this is one of my main food sources, and I'll probably use this place to sleep while we row over to our island. And coming into view right now is our villager breeder, where I got all my villagers from. It is on a ruined castle on a small island over there. Passing by it, we can now tell that we are almost at the island. Over to our left now, there is the city of Dirtington, built by Kaboom Bean. I do not think we are going there today. Maybe we will, but our main focus is over there. After a nice day of rowing, we are approaching the island of Babelsberg, where I have made my main base, though I rarely come here on camera. So as you can see, we have this lovely island here with nice cliffs with some buildings on this lower portion right here. We have some sort of tower building right there and some other buildings facing the sea. Getting up onto the walkable area, you can see that inside of the buildings we do have some interiors, but they are mostly blank. Now, these buildings right here are some of the oldest on the server. They were built way back in 2021, December, and they've held up somewhat well. I do think that my skill has gone past these buildings right here, but I do keep them around because they're such historically significant on the server. And though they are not the oldest buildings on the server are actually over there in Dirtington, so I guess I will fly over there just to show you. So over here is the city of Dirtington. As you can see, it is made out of dirt, but if we go along this way, we get over to this little stump, and this house down here. These are the two oldest buildings. This is the Dirtington house, and this is Dirtington Monument, built all the way back on the first day of the server, actually. Well, I do not know about the tower, but this house was built on the first day, built by Kaboom Bean, and it is the most historically significant building on the server. Though if we take into account buildings that were on the old world before we reset the server for caves and cliffs, there are some buildings that from the old server that we brought back into here, but I do not really count those because they were built at a later date in this server. Anyway, turning over into this tower over here, we have some stairs that take us up to the top of the cliffs. As you can hear, the villagers, they're all inside of this building. I eventually plan to move them, but maybe not in this episode. So up here we have our nether portal that leads over to the base, and we have a couple sea stacks as you can see, one right there, another right there, But behind here we have some buttons that are supposed to be stones, but this one actually opens up a small door that takes you to the inside where we have this cave. And if we try to look around, yes, over here we have the mushroom that we completely stole, and he's been living down here without sunlight for about 2 to 3 years now. Over here is some sort of makeshift mine staircase. Going down here, we end up at our storage area. If we go past through here, very nice. This is where I store all my items. Except most of the items that I do use are actually stored in the city inside of one of the gates, but I plan to change that sometime soon, as I want to build some warehouses over there. Going up these stairs right here, we end up over here into this little section, and here is the living area that I have, where we have a bed and some maps and this cat that I have not seen in months. And then going back to over here leads back to our door. We do have a little pond down here so that if you do not want to take the staircase, you can just jump down. And we also have an alternate exit over here, which is just a pool of water that leads to the outside. So, what are we doing in this episode? Well, you see, this portal here is out in the open, and I do not really like that. So what we will be doing is, as you can see, we have this large open space of grass right here. I plan to build a building right here to store our nether portal. Usually when I make nether portal buildings, they are usually in the form of a train station, but as you can see, we are on an island right here, so that's not really possible. So I'll just build some building for the portal, and it wouldn't really matter that much. So the building will be about from here all the way to where that fence is right there, and it will be some sort of like long house with several gables on it, made out of bricks like the rest of the buildings in the town, and that will be used to store the portal. So that is the first thing we are doing in this episode. Nice building to house the portal. So we are back here with our portal building here built now. It does look a bit like a palace, so the upper floors I may use for housing purposes. But here is our building right here. We do have a little bit of the interior done, though it's only just these two rooms right here where the portal is going to be. Taking a good look at it, we can see that it's a nice little long house with some dormers up there. It does take some elements from this castle in Denmark, but if we take a fly around getting different angles of our building, see right there, if we go over here, you can tell that it adds a nice little verticality to the island. As you can see, it's on top of the cliff right there, adding a nicer skyline, I suppose. And these windows can overlook the sea as well as the rooftops of these lower buildings down here. But I think it is time for us to take our nether portal and move it to the inside of this building right here. And now we can take our flint and steel and light it, and we have our new portal now set up. So, one thing you may have noticed on this island is the villagers hard at work. Well, you actually can't hear them right now. If we go down... Yeah, there you go. You can hear the villagers hard at work. Inside of this building down here, I have the door blocked off because mobs would sometimes spawn. But here is where I keep my villagers, and thing is, this was always supposed to be a temporary place to put them. They are not actually supposed to be here forever. I have put them here until I made a permanent place to have the villagers, but I have actually never done that yet, and I think that I need to do some work over there. So heading on towards this direction, towards the west, if we fly past the city of dirt. And then we fly through the forest over here. We arrive at this dark forest over here. And inside we have this sort of bowl or basin where I plan to have put a village by now, but as you can see, we have not done that yet. I have actually come back here many episodes ago. I think it was episode 4, which released over a year ago, where I actually did some work with villagers, creating a whole bunch of more librarians during the big panic that happened after the announcement of the villager rebalance that I believe is still yet to come out. So in that hole down there and in that hole over there, we have some villagers stored up, locked away, and I was supposed to have built a village over here, but I have not yet done that. But today will be the day we start some work. We probably will not build any actual houses today, but we will get the area set up a little bit more. Also, this area is also where my mines are, so we have lots of diamonds. If we go down here, we reach our little mine area, and that stretches on for at least 1,500 blocks, and each of these tunnels are about 100 blocks each, so I have done my fair share of digging around. So what exactly are we building? So for this project, I plan to deviate a bit from the more realistic builds we have, or builds that you could imagine existing in real life. And for this one, we are doing a bit more of a fantasy enchanted village, as that is something I've wanted to do for a while, ever since Good Times with Scar built his magical village in Hermitcraft Season 7. The closest I ever got to doing something similar was an enchanted bookstore from the old server, the continuation of which still exists today. But for this project, we'll be building a magical village inside of a dark forest. So, as I said before, this area is sort of shaped like a bowl with these hills surrounding this little area in the middle. So what I plan to do is to build up some steep cliffs where these hills are and have our village in this little basin area in the middle where there'll probably be like a road going north-south with some villager houses along, and on this side, I think, maybe it'll be that side, I'm not sure yet, but there will be a pond filled with water, and that will be a nice little area. And I think there will be like a creek coming out of these mountains. One cool thing that I found though was there is this cave right here where if we go up to it, you see that there is this little opening right here, which goes out to here, which will be a nice entrance to the outside world if I take advantage of this generation. But even though I plan for this video to be outside of the city, I will have to go back for a brief moment to go grab some stone so that we can start building our cliffs. So I've come back with some stone. This definitely will not be enough to build the entire cliff walls, but this will be enough to get a good start, as I probably won't be building the entire cliff face today, but I'll be getting enough to have a good start. And now that I've gotten some materials, it is now a nice time for us to start construction with our cliffs. So the first thing I probably need to do is to clear out a little bit more of these trees. Even though this area will be pretty dense in foliage. I will have to clear out some of these naturally generating trees to actually build up the cliffs. As you can see, it's not as steep as I would like it, so I will have to clear out some of these trees and possibly replant them back, though most of the trees will probably be custom trees, but as they're like on top of the cliff area, I'll probably just use the dark oak trees as to sort of hide this area a little bit better. So I cut down a lot of the trees that were on this hill, and now we can get to making some of the cliff. So first thing I would like to do is that, as you can see, this hill is pretty steep, but I would like it to be a little bit more vertical. So what I would be doing first is removing a lot of this to make it a much more of a sheer drop-off cliff instead of a steep hill. And after a little bit of work, as you can see, we have our beacon here to make work easier. We have a small section of our cliff built. Not all of it is really done, as you can see, but this is all I wanted to do for now. Eventually, we will get this entire basin little area done, but here is just a little preview on what it would look like. Not entirely, though. I do wish to replace some of this with like tuff and andesite to create a little bit more texture into the cliffs, but this is all I wish to do for now, as I have gotten a little tired of terraforming. But don't worry, this is just a side project for me to do whenever I get bored of the main stuff or any other side project, so I will come back to this in the future. Now, before we end our episode, I would like to revisit our house we built here on this island, where we have our nether portal. I do not remember correctly, but if I said in the beginning of the episode that we will not be doing the interior, I was wrong. I do feel like doing the interior now, so that is what we will be doing. So this ground floor area will probably just become a staircase that leads to the upper floor, where we would probably have some sort of living areas like bedrooms and stuff, and the attic will probably just be storage. So pretty simple. I'll build the inside of our house here and come back when we are done. Now that I am done, I can show you the inside that I have made it here. So this room, as I said before, is just a staircase, where if we go up, we get to this little sort of balcony area where you can look down at the guests entering. I was able to fit 2 rooms in here. We have this sort of working room where we have this chair at this desk. You can write stuff and do math equations and look at the window at the nice ocean view we have. And into this room is just a bedroom. We have a bed, some decorations, and this very long desk here to cover up the nether portal, which is fine. But that is pretty much all we have. We also have an attic up here with not much in it, but it will most likely be used for storage sometime in the future. But going back down, as you can see, we have some diorite on the floor here. I was able to be creative and not have to move the floor up an extra block because there's vaulted ceilings right here, which use the diorite. And if I was to normally have a two block layer of floor between the ceiling and the floor, then that would have made this room rather short, and I was able to go around it by just incorporating the diorite into the floor. So there's that. Anyways, that is all I have for this video. Thank you for watching if you have made it this far. We have gotten some amazing work done in this video, and I apologize for how long it took to make this, but we did get a lot of work done, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Thank you.